We live in a world built on sand, the hidden ingredient in our cities, our glass, and our technology. From the tallest skyscrapers to the smallest microchips, sand is the silent foundation of modern civilization, shaping the spaces we inhabit and the tools we use every day. Yet, the specific sand we need, angular river and sea sand, is running out. Unlike the endless dunes of the desert, this sand is rare and precious, formed over thousands of years by the slow work of water and time. Desert sand, smooth and wind-worn, is useless for construction, making our reliance on river and sea sand a global crisis. The grains are too round to bind together, leaving us dependent on a resource that is both finite and fiercely contested. Humanity uses up to 50 billion metric tons of sand each year, second only to water. Every new building, every stretch of highway, every pane of glass adds to this staggering demand, fueling an industry that spans continents. This demand far exceeds nature's ability to replenish it, leading to disappearing islands, collapsing riverbanks, and eroding coastlines. The very landscapes that once seemed eternal are vanishing before our eyes, reshaped by our relentless appetite for sand. As legal sources dwindle, illegal extraction surges, fueling environmental crime and social conflict. Black markets thrive, and entire communities are drawn into dangerous struggles over this overlooked commodity. In some regions, so-called sand mafias control extraction, using violence and intimidation to protect their profits, while local people pay the price in lost land and livelihoods. The sand we use to build our world is being stripped from the very barriers that protect us from nature's fury. Beaches and riverbanks, our first line of defense against storms and floods, are disappearing, leaving communities more vulnerable than ever. In our quest for progress, we're dismantling the foundations of our own survival. Forests are cleared, habitats destroyed, and delicate ecosystems thrown out of balance, all for the sake of sand. The smartphone in your hand, the window you look through, the pavement beneath your feet, all depend on this vanishing resource. Our daily comforts and conveniences are built on a material most of us never even notice. The crisis is no longer invisible, it's embedded in our daily lives. Every handful of sand lost is a piece of our future slipping away, a warning sign hidden in plain sight. The golden grains that once symbolized leisure now mark the limits of our planet and our own short-sightedness. Unless we rethink how we use and value sand, we risk undermining the very world we've built upon it. Nowhere is the sand crisis more visible than in China. China's rapid urbanization has consumed more sand in a few years than the US did in a century. With domestic sources exhausted, China dredges the ocean floor, especially in the South China Sea, to build cities and artificial islands. These islands, equipped with military bases, are tools of territorial expansion. Sand turned into sovereignty. Dredging often happens in disputed waters, escalating tensions and redrawing maps. The result: sand is no longer just a building material, but a weapon reshaping the region's geopolitics. Marine sand is abundant, but its salt content corrodes concrete from within, threatening building safety. Traditional desalination methods are slow and wasteful, requiring months and vast amounts of fresh water. A breakthrough ultrasonic washing developed in South Korea uses sound waves to strip salt in minutes, not months. This technology slashes water use and makes sea sand viable for construction at scale. For China, it removes a major obstacle, making large-scale sea sand extraction even more attractive. The world's oceans are now a virtually limitless sand quarry, but this convenience comes at a steep environmental cost. Dredging the seabed devastates marine ecosystems, disrupting the delicate balance that has taken centuries to form. Each scoop of sand or gravel removes not just sediment, but entire communities of organisms that call the ocean floor home. Suction pipes and claws obliterate habitats like seagrass meadows and coral reefs, turning vibrant ecosystems into lifeless plains. These habitats are nurseries for countless marine species, and their destruction ripples through the entire food web, threatening fish, turtles, and even birds that rely on the sea. Sediment clouds block sunlight, suffocating marine plants and animals. Without sunlight, photosynthetic plants can't survive, and the water becomes a hostile environment for creatures that depend on clear conditions to feed and breed. Dredging also releases trapped pollutants, worsening ocean health. Heavy metals and toxins, once buried, are stirred up and spread, contaminating the food chain and putting both marine life and humans at risk. Onshore, the loss of sand accelerates coastal erosion, stripping away natural defenses and exposing communities to storms and flooding. beaches shrink, dunes collapse, and the land becomes more vulnerable with every tide. As coastlines vanish, demand for concrete seawalls rises, requiring even more sand. This creates a vicious cycle, as the very act of trying to protect our shores increases the pressure on the environment. The cycle is self-perpetuating. The more we build to protect ourselves, the more we destroy the systems that protect us. Natural barriers like mangroves and reefs are replaced by concrete, but artificial solutions can never fully replicate nature's resilience. Our solution to erosion is fueling the very crisis we're trying to solve. Each intervention leads to new problems, as artificial barriers fail to keep pace with the relentless forces of nature. We're dismantling natural defenses to build artificial ones at the expense of both wildlife and people. Displaced animals struggle to survive, and communities lose the natural beauty and protection that once defined their shores. The devastation offshore inevitably becomes a crisis on land, reminding us that the health of our coasts and oceans are inseparable, and that every scoop of sand comes at a cost we can no longer ignore. China's sand demand has upended Southeast Asia, turning sand into a geopolitical flashpoint. Countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia banned sand exports to protect their coastlines, but illegal trade flourished. Sand mafias and corruption thrived as enforcement lagged. In 2023, Indonesia controversially lifted its export ban, seeking revenue but risking renewed environmental destruction. Dozens of companies rushed for permits, while critics warned of vanishing islands and lost heritage. Indonesia's move deepened regional rifts, pitting economic gain against environmental survival. The region's shifting sand policies are redrawing the map of resource politics. The true cost of sand extraction falls heavily on local communities. Fishermen lose their livelihoods as dredging destroys breeding grounds and depletes their catches. Short-term profits from sand exports are dwarfed by long-term losses in fisheries, tourism, and increased coastal erosion. The social fabric unravels as resistance is met with intimidation and violence from powerful sand mafias. Communities watch their beaches disappear and their homes threatened, while profits flow elsewhere, far from their reach. The human cost is dispossession and despair, vibrant local economies dismantled for fleeting gains. Behind every ton of sand extracted is a community's future being washed away, lost forever. Skyscrapers and artificial islands rise as symbols of human ambition, projecting power and prosperity. Yet beneath their impressive facades, these marvels are built on unstable, shifting sand, an uneasy foundation that threatens their future. Reclaimed land is inherently fragile, demanding constant vigilance. It requires endless maintenance, frequent reinforcement, and a steady supply of sand just to keep the ground from slipping away. This relentless cycle of extraction and construction deepens the crisis. Every new project accelerates environmental decline as rivers, beaches, and ecosystems are stripped to feed our appetite for growth. We can't engineer our way out of a problem rooted in ignoring nature's limits. The more we try to control the land, the more unpredictable and costly the consequences become. The sand crisis is a stark warning. Our future is built on borrowed time and borrowed resources. If we continue down this path, the very ground beneath us may vanish. Breaking the cycle means embracing recycled materials, enforcing stronger regulations, and truly listening to frontline communities who understand the risks firsthand. Sustainable development must work with nature, not against it. Only by respecting natural boundaries can we build a future that lasts. If we keep dismantling our planet's foundations, our future will collapse with them. The choice is ours: adapt, or face the consequences of ignoring nature's warnings.